It was 49 years ago this week that the Woodstock Music Festival kicked off in New York, and you know what that changed as far as American culture, American music, and a whole lot more. And all of us have heard of Woodstock, but not many of us know somebody who was actually there. That's why I wanted to introduce you to our first guest this morning is Dan LaGraff. Dan, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Chip. Appreciate
Woodstock.
Yeah.
So if you had to summarize the whole thing in just 15, 20 seconds, how would you do that?
Very memorable. It changed my life for sure, and I didn't realize what kind of a exhibition it was going to be at the time. We just thought we were going down there to listen to some music, just 50,000 of us, and it turned out to be a monster, that's for sure.
500,000 people.
That's what they said. You know, of course, at the time they said that the interstate was closed because of that.
Now, you were in New York already, so it wasn't like you had to make the trip from Chattanooga up there, but you were in school at UTC here during the festival.
I was a rising junior here, but I was home. I live in a little town just outside of Buffalo called Lockport, and I had gone home for the summer. My father had got me a job on the highway as a flagman, making $10 an hour, so I was making some pretty good money in those days.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine that went to New York University, actually he's the one who told us all about what was going down there at Woodstock, so I went ahead and bought 6 tickets. Amazingly, the tickets were only
They were cheap.
$6 a piece,
Yeah.
so $18 for 3 of them.
Sure.
And I bought 6 tickets for myself and 5 of my friends. 1969, I had just turned 21. 2 weeks ago, I just turned 70, so you don't ask me any hard questions.
Woodstock didn't hurt you then.
No.
When you got there and you saw what was developing and what was unfolding, what went through your head? I mean, because that had to have been a pretty big culture shock.
It was. We got down to, the festival was actually Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then it actually bled over into Monday, but we got there on Thursday, so we got there early enough that we could pull right into the little town. White Lake. It wasn't held in Woodstock. Everybody thinks it was Woodstock.
Because
Woodstock was 50 miles away.
Right.
They wouldn't give them the permits they needed, so they went south and to a fellow named Max Yasker. He was the farmer that let them go on their 600-acre farm. We got into the little town and we set up shop in this little town, which was 2 miles from the concert site.
Of course, you couldn't just hop a car and go back and
No,
forth.
no, it was gridlock. The town was locked down. The roads were locked down. Everything was in walking mode. There weren't cell phones. And so I headed out to the festival on Friday afternoon, and that's when you could hear in the distance Richie Havens.
Speaking of Richie Havens, I found this in some of the Chapman memorabilia items. If I could show you what's on the back of this fan. He actually came down here for an interview when he played Riverbend years and years and years ago, and was undoubtedly one of the nicest performers that I've ever met. Just calm, cool, laid back, but really in tune. You could tell he was on a different level than a lot of the other folks were musically who were here in and around the area at that time. So he's a friend forever and ever, Richie Havens. And I think we have some video of Richie that we're going to roll. And you said he played for a long time, right?
3 hours is what I understand. They couldn't get the other performers in because the roads were gridlocked and they were supposed to be able to just drive in and out, but that didn't work out, so they had to work with a helicopter. So they had to shuttle the performers in and out of New York City. And so that took quite a bit of time. So Havens played for, they said 3 hours, and that's when he invented the song Freedom.
Kind of on the spot.
And he just kept saying freedom, freedom, freedom for 45 minutes.
Any other musical acts that really popped your oh wow factor?
Well, you know, after the Friday event, I did head back to where we had sort of taken over an old house and lived in there. And then when I came back on Saturday for the festival, by then there was a fence around the perimeter, but that was crushed and they didn't even have it. You didn't need tickets.
Sure.
So we got right up front. I was 50 yards from the stage at that point in time. I mean, I was right there. The Who, a bunch of the other groups that were playing, and then the big storm came up, and that changed the whole face of the whole concert because it got very windy, it got dark, no rain, no rain. I can still remember the chanting to try to get that away, and that big storm hit. So people think, oh, Woodstock, it was great, but it turned out to be a real mud hole. I mean, I was knee-deep in mud.
But musically, you said the Who set the old wow factor.
Yeah,
peg it
the
out.
Who. I remember Country Joe and the Fish. Of course, we all remember that memorable song. give me an F,
Yep,
give me a U, and
sure.
so on and so forth. But that was a big deal. John Sebastian, I think Joan Baez.
It's amazing the percentage of those performers who were there at Woodstock that have been inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right.
Were you there for the Hendrix Star Spangled Banner?
I was on my way out. He didn't play till he played Monday morning. People think that he was part of the deal. He sort of came in late. He finally got in there. That's when he played the memorable Star Spangled Banner, and on his guitar. But I did get to hear him as we were getting up and finding our way out of there, because of course everybody was leaving at the same time.
You have fond memories of the whole the festival as a whole.
I do. Thinking back on it, I mean, that was 49 years ago, so
Sure.
it's a long time ago. It all seems so surreal now that I think back, and the memories are still great. I met some wonderful people there. I can't say that I know where they are now. Most of the people that I met and a lot of my friends that went are deceased now,
Sure.
so it's getting to in that direction. But
Well, I'm glad you're not.
No,
We're going to
thank-
leave it there. Dan LaGraff,
All right.
always good to see
Yep,
you.
I appreciate
Thanks
it.
for sharing your memories with us on Woodstock, which celebrates their 49th anniversary coming up this week.
50,
Hard to believe.
50 years next year.
We're going to bring you back for the 50th anniversary,
all
so
right.
you've got 1 year to gather all your pictures, including the one on Time magazine.
All
So-
right, I'll show you that. I might not be employed, and I might be able to tell you a little more by then.
Right. We're going to leave you into the break here, talking about 3 days of peace and love at Woodstock, listening to a little Jimi Hendrix.